My name is Ethan Annis. I am from Ogden, Utah originally, but now I live in Layton. I've been working with Peyton and his team for probably the last 8 years or so. We've purchased 3 separate homes and we're actively looking to purchase our 4th right now. And we purchased 1 in Ogden, 1 in Sandy, and 1 in Layton. So a couple of different markets. We have purchased some of the nastiest homes in what I consider to be nice neighborhoods. And so we have had a myriad of different problems that Peyton and his team has helped us navigate. One, our first home that we had was basically a complete gut and it had mold all in the basement. We had the second home that we bought had rotting siding on the whole outside of it and a ton of, it was a poorly done addition. And then that also it tested positive for meth because it had been a rental. And then this latest one was, again, not quite a gut, but a huge cosmetic remodel that we did. And Peyton and his team have been fantastic in helping us to navigate the difficulties of that in the negotiation process while we purchased the home. And they've also been fantastic in helping us to know what contractors to use. I think I've used my HVAC guys is a referral from Peyton and his team. My 2 painters that I've used, my cabinet guy, it came from Peyton. There's probably 4 or 5 more. My landscaper that I use at my rentals now came from Peyton. And then the last thing that I will say that I think that his team was extremely influential in helping was getting my wife on board when we first wanted to buy a rental. Probably the best financial decision that we've ever made was buying our first home as what we call a house hack, where we lived in it and then the basement was a rental for us. And initially my wife wasn't super on board, and Peyton was essentially relentless in making the case for that to happen. And so I think that put us on a different trajectory in life that has been hugely influential for us. I think house buying is a pretty emotional process for a lot of people. I know it certainly was for me, especially the first 1 and 2. And when you get things like meth in a house or mold in a house, immediately that makes my willingness to pay go way down, and it kind of makes me a cranky buyer. And so I always encourage the team to ask for as much money off the house as possible. And I'm probably almost a rude negotiator. But then what I communicate is probably brash and not very helpful. Peyton's team takes that and turns it into extremely professional communication and negotiation that works really, really well. It has always worked really well in our house buying process. Because I think it's equally emotional on the seller side. So we make sure that the communication is professional and doesn't make them feel like their house is trash, even though I think their house was trash, everyone that we bought. I would definitely recommend Peyton and his team to anyone. Actually, my wife's sister is actually just looking to buy a house right now. And he hooked them up with one of his agents named Michaela, and they described her as, "We love her." We started to jail instantly. So I would definitely recommend them.